Hey, what's up? I'm here with somebody who started out as a customer and now has become a friend. You become a friend, right, Albert?
Yes, we have.
Okay. All right.
Like
So,
the brother I never had.
like the brother you never had. Let's see that. Now that's awesome. I'm Frank. This is,
Albert.
and we're at a title company, and Albert just finished signing his documents to sell his home, and it's been a very interesting journey,
Yes,
and we've learned a lot. And so I just wanted to walk through a little bit with Albert, why he reached out to me, and then how it worked, and some things we learned along the way because this was a good learning experience.
well, I started out by I was thinking about flipping the house, and I called about five different people initially and find out what their thought process was or how much it would give me for a quick sale on the house. So the first four people, they gave me lowball offers, and they never really researched the house or it came down and talked to me face to face. And when I called Frank, he says, "Oh, I'll be down there in a couple of hours." I said, "Whoa!" I says, "These other four people never even mentioned coming down and look at the house." So Frank came right down. He came down, the time he said he was going to come down. Looked at the house and he said, "You shouldn't be flipping this house. You should put it on the market and you can get full value for the house because the house is so nice." And that's when we struck our friendship and we got together and I picked him as a realtor and it's about the best thing I ever did.
Hmm. Wow, cool. Okay, thank you. So, a couple key points there, and then I want to talk through some of what we learned along the way. So, four people made an offer over the phone, which I'm never a fan of. Like, I want people to come and see it because I don't trust that. Okay, the offer you give me over the phone is actually one that you're going to stick with. Is that what you felt as well, or
No, no. I mean, I kind of knew what the house was worth. I
okay?
mean, I wasn't going to give it away because it's such a nice house. But I figured if I can eliminate all the paperwork and the expenses and and selling the house, for retail,
Yeah.
maybe if it was close, maybe I go that direction. But the way it turned out, I mean, I made the right decision doing what I did, and
Cool.
getting Frank as a realtor.
Well, thank you. And so one of the things that I do is when people call me, like Albert, to come in and make an offer to buy their house, sometimes the best thing to do is to sell it retail, which is what I encouraged him to do, and he decided to do. And that way, he gets more money for it, and it's a great home. I mean, the gentleman who's buying it is going to love it. Let's talk a little bit about some of what we discovered and how we worked through some of the things we discovered along the way.
Yeah, it got to be a little complicated. We had two lots involved, and we had the empty lot sold, and then we come to find out it was a leach field on the property, and we couldn't really go through with the sale. So we had to back out of that sale. Then we were going to combine the two, and that would have been extensive work and dealing with the state and the county, and that would have probably took another 8 weeks. So what we did, we like quick deed the property to the buyer, but then the buyer's lender didn't want to buy the two properties together. So we had to back out of that deal. Then we had to separate the two properties and he had to buy them separately. And then we had to get an easement, for the drain field on the extra lot, so the deal would go through, and that's what we ended up doing.
Okay, so yeah, good point. So we did get an easement. Going through the city and then the county to combine the two properties would have probably taken a couple months at least, and who knows what else might have happened during that time. So having an easement drafted was really a good option. And one thing that I learned, Albert mentioned, is that we did eventually have a survey, but we should have had a survey done first on the land next door. I should have suggested that, and so we didn't do that. But fortunately, that all worked out. And as a result of that, there's so many things that we just came across that we hadn't faced before, and working through lending, and the lawyer was really good, and so now we're about ready to be done with this. So
Yeah, we're finally approaching the finish line.
yeah.
And it's been a long process. We learned a lot about about real estate. I learned a lot about real estate and how it gets done down here, which is a little different from where I came from, but
Where'd you come from?
Rhode Island.
Okay.
And not that it's any easier up there, but just the way you go through things. And I had the situation I had there was a lot different from just selling a house on one lot. I got complicated with the extra lot, and that really threw threw everything off as far as selling it, the right way, not the right way, but efficiently selling it, right away. Then we had to go back and basically backtrack and do it with the extra lot, separate from the house, and it worked out in the end. So I mean, it was quite a process, but Frank learned something along the way, and I did too, and it all came. The end deal is, it all came to fruition, and I'm happy with the process and how it ended.
And one of the things that I always like to do is become friends with my clients, because we spent a lot of time drinking coffee in Albert's home, and him and his girlfriend have been very gracious to me as well. And so it's a couple of key points. One is, I would consider, if you have two properties side by side and you're going to end up selling them at some point together, I would combine them beforehand. That would have been easier before, where it's plenty of time to do it, because it's going to take a little bit of time to get that done. And then even though we told the lender, these are separate properties and you've got to be able to finance them together, it's still, because the person was seeking state assistance for no money down, there just came a snag. So these are going to be two separate transactions. Worked out. It's going to work out great in the end, and Albert's going to go on his merry way, and it's been fun. So anything that, just as you think about the system, the process overall, anything you would do different in the future that might help somebody?
Well, I mean, in talk about the future, I don't think I'll ever be involved in in something that.
I'm saying, if you had knowing the property you have, what would you have done before you decided to sell?
Well, I probably would have researched a lot and make sure I could sell it separately. And I mean, that was my first mistake. I mean, that would have been easy to do. I could have had a check to make sure the drain field's not on the property, which I didn't do. But there's some missteps along the way that that created this scenario we ended up with.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So it's important to do even more due diligence than I did when you have property side by side. It's important, which we did, to make sure the lender understands what's going on, and then what issues will take place as a result of trying to sell two properties where they have to close differently, separately, or whatever. But with all that said, great learning experience and great working together. Albert, thank you so much.
Well,
appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome, Frank. And another thing I want to mention, Frank is very thorough, and if you're ever looking for a realtor that wants, that's going to get to the finish line, Frank's the man. And another thing I'd like to say about Frank, he almost treats you like a family member. He's there 24/7. If you have a question, you call him anytime. He answers his phone, and he's very thorough in everything he does. And that's what I appreciate about Frank.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And have a great day.